Okay, that's what I want to hear. All right, thank you. We call this meeting to order. Thank you, everybody, for attending this monthly scheduled legislative meeting. Tonight, we have no presentations, so therefore, without presentations, we can move on to roll call.
We have one speaker.
Oh, we have one speaker, that's right, one speaker. Speaker is Andrea Smith. She's here. Hello, Andrea.
Good evening, Chairman Stamwell and honorable members of the County Legislature. My name is Andrea Smith. I'm a resident of the city of Rensselaer. I wanted to speak tonight on the local law establishing a one-year moratorium on types of solid waste facilities and transfer operations. I'm in support of the concept of this local law. I am one of many who raised concerns that the language was not sufficient to protect the city of Rensselaer from quite a disturbing proposal that is under consideration, but is even being reconsidered by the city mayor. This is the Bio-High-Tech project. It's a multi-million-dollar drying, untested drying process where tons of garbage would be brought into a facility that would be dug into the existing brownfield. Pits would be dug into the existing brownfield. The garbage would be dried through a process, and then additional trucks would come and pick up the garbage, the dried product, and bring it to sites in Pennsylvania where it would be burned for fuel. It cannot be burned in sites in New York because it's been deemed too toxic. So there are many, many aspects of this project that are extremely troubling. The only operation currently in the United States, this is a foreign company that is doing this technology, is in West Virginia. So New York and West Virginia would be on par if this project were to move forward. Orange County was considering a facility similar to this. Their county legislature denied the application. It was actually the town. But in the city of Rensselaer, what happened was the planning board went ahead on it with a negative declaration, a declaration that there did not need to be a full environmental review of this type of untried facility in a 100-year floodplain, yards from the Hudson River, in a contaminated brownfield. No independent environmental review. And that's the decision that is so troubling. The follow-up by the company to apply for the necessary permits to the State Department of Environmental Conservation is also troubling because the application that they submitted for the permits was returned as incomplete. A multi-million-dollar company filing for permits for their business livelihood, not adequately filing the application. So this project is extremely troubling. We certainly hope that the moratorium would apply to it, and so one of the amendments that we believe needs to be added is that both local and state permitting needs to be complete. And if that change were included, we feel comfortable that the Bio-High-Tech project would be included in the one-year moratorium, as it should. And I mentioned that the mayor of the city of Rensselaer has mentioned numerous times in the press that he will ask the planning board to revisit the negative declaration. We certainly urge the county legislature to support that action. And we've also learned that there were other amendments submitted that would protect other tributaries of the Hudson River, which we think is a fine idea, so that all of the communities that you represent could be protected as well. So in closing, what I ask you to do this evening if you are going to vote in favor of this local...
Thank you, Mrs. Smith, and very well said. And one of the other things about this neighborhood is concern is it's right next to the historical Fort Cralo neighborhood, within less than 100 yards, so that'll have a negative effect on that as well. With that being said, any more public speakers? Anybody else would like to speak on this or any other subject? Though you're not signed in, you might have missed a sheet. Okay. With that being said, let's call the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Bendet?
Here.
Mr. Burns? Mr. Casal?
Here.
Ms. Doran?
Present.
Mr. Fiacco? Mr. Fleming?
Here.
Mr. Grant?
Present.
Mr. Grimm?
Here.
Mr. Harrington?
Present.
Ms. Hoffman? Mr. Leverage?
Here.
Mr. Patiri?
Here.
Mr. Peter?
Here.
Mr. Tessman?
Here.
Ms. Sullivan Tita? Ms. Weaver?
Present.
Mr. Wysocki?
Here.
Chairman Stammel?
Here.
16 present, 3 absent.
Invocation, please, Mr. Grant.
Lord, cause us note that peace does not abide in angry talk and actions, but may be found in a happy and charitable spirit. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Grimm, pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Harrington.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 11, 2019, and approve the minutes as printed.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Presentation of petitions.
On file?
Presentation of communications.
On file?
Reports of commissions.
On file?
Departmental reports.
On file?
Reports of standing committees.
On file?
Okay. Local laws.
There's one tonight.
Have one local law, and as Ms. Smith stated before, this law would take effect immediately. The thing that she was asking as a public would to say that, yes, I'm in support of the amendment, which would be come up next month to lay on the legislator's desk, and I would urge you to support that as well. Roll call vote for local law. Local law, I get a resolution amend, or yeah, did you read it? Okay, local law.
A local law of the County of Rensselaer establishing a solid waste management facilities one-year moratorium introduced by Chairman Stammel. This is a roll call. Mr. Bailey?
Yes, with the amendment.
Mr. Bendet?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, there is no amendment at this
No.
time.
No.
This is just the local law. There's a draft second local law that is being reviewed by the legislators now, but there's no amendment.
Yes, with the law.
Yes.
Mr. Bendet?
Yes.
Mr. Burns? Is absent. Mr. Casal?
Yes.
Ms. Doran?
Mr. Chairman, may I say a few words?
Please do.
Let me first say that I'm certainly in support of doing something to help any community that lives near a waterway. As an educator, I like to see assignments complete, and I like to see projects done to their fullest. And I would have liked to have seen this local law with the amendments, because as a Rensselaer County legislator, I want to protect all our constituents, residents, not just those who live near the Hudson Valley, and the Hudson River, excuse me. I'm going to support this, and I'm going to trust that the majority is going to provide the amendments, as we have talked about, to be voted on next month. You know I have some concern there because in the past, the minority has talked about issues like Tobacco 21, having legal counsel, and though individuals in the majority support it, when it comes time in committee to vote on it, it doesn't happen. I have to say that, I have to report that and say that to the public. And that's my concern here, certainly not with the local law, especially with amendments. I am going to vote for the local law tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Fleming?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Grimm?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes, Mr. Grimm?
we've had a lot of discussion over this local law, and You know, we had a lot of concerns in the minority, especially when we heard from, we had our talk in special rules tonight over this. And I'm happy to see this, especially for the city of Troy, because the Hudson River is one of our greatest assets here in the city of Troy. As Ms. Doran said, I'd like to see it extended through the county. And the amendments that we proposed last week, I'm totally in support of that coming up next month with the new local law to replace this local law down the road. But I think in light of situations like Hoosick Falls and whatnot, I'm happy to see that the legislature bipartisanly is coming together to address concerns of this magnitude throughout the county. And I hope it's just the beginning of many similar attempts by us. So I'm voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Harrington.
Mr. Chairman, I'm glad to see that we're getting bipartisan support on this, and I know that there are changes. We have a proposed changes presented to all of us, so I'm definitely in favor of those changes, and we'll support those changes next month when they can be done on a correct timely basis. So I want to say I'm in favor.
Thank you.
Mr. Leverage.
Yes.
Mr. Patiri?
Yes.
Mr. Peter?
Yes.
Mr. Tessman?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Tita?
Yes.
Ms. Weaver?
I'd like to
Ms. Weaver?
I'm a little concerned that according to the research that I've done, it was determined by our own planning commission that this was none of our concern and this should go back to the city of Rensselaer. So I'm a little concerned that we are getting involved. I mean, is it really under our purview to do this? Do we do this in any other town in Rensselaer County? That's my concern. Should we even be voting on it? That's my concern. I mean, I'm not going to support for the Hudson River. We need to do that, but it's with, I have a reservation.
We did address that in special rules, and I'd be more than glad to discuss it with you further if you'd like.
I would be more comfortable if we knew the amendments that were actually going to be put forward. Are we going to be able to be involved in that?
Oh, yeah, the amendments are the ones that were already submitted by the minority, so.
Were they not provided with?
Yeah, I thought you was already.
The email went out yesterday, or I believe it was yesterday, I think it.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty. I just think we need to be mindful of every vote that we make, and if it's under our purview, then I'm totally supportive, but if it's not, I don't want to waste our time or the residents of Rensselaer County.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Before we leave, let's print them and make sure they have them.
Carol, are you voting yes?
Yeah, voting yes.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Stanley.
Yeah, just briefly there, the only reason why this wasn't put up with the amendments in it is we didn't make the 7-day calendar, which was is required by law. So if we would have made that calendar date, the amendments would be there. And that's why we, when we discussed this matter in caucus, and that we did commit to the changes last week when we spoke. So that is forthcoming, and all those changes that you talked about, you should have them, okay, as well. And we have done this in other cases here in the county as well, where we've made, like in mining, we went out, the county made changes in the law for mining where it didn't have it, where it superseded towns and things of that nature. So we have done things like this in the past. Okay? Thank you, Carol. Okay.
Roll call results.
Aye.
16 ayes.
Yes.
So moved.
Index of, oh, wait a minute. Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wysocki.
7.
Damn W's.
It's still 16.
ayes still. 16 ayes?
Yes.
No negatives, no abstentions?
No, okay.
Index of resolutions?
Okay, index resolutions here. P258-19.
P258-19, resolution commending Delia Hogue upon the occasion of being crowned 2019-2020 Rensselaer County Dairy Princess, introduced by legislators Harrington, Wysocki, Peter, and the entire legislative body.
On a question. Is there a motion? No. Motion made.
16 ayes.
P260, or 259-19.
P259-19, resolution recognizing the month of August as National Water Quality Month, introduced by legislators Grimm, Doran, Burns, Fleming, Sullivan, Tita, Weaver, and the entire legislative body.
On a question. All in favor? So moved.
16, introduced by legislators Patiri, Wysocki, Stammel, and the entire legislative body.
On the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. 26119, a resolution, oh, so go ahead.
P 26119, resolution appointing members to the Rensselaer County Emergency Radio Communications Committee, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. 26219,
G 26219, resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain real property to former owners listed below who paid tax arrearages in full, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Stammel, and Grimm.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26319,
G 26319, resolution authorizing and directing the Rensselaer County Chief Fiscal Officer to correct the 2017 to 2019 tax rolls for the town of East Greenbush, Bureau of Tax Services, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Stammel, and Grimm.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26419,
G 26419, resolution authorizing and directing the Rensselaer County Chief Fiscal Officer to correct the 2019 tax roll for the town of Pittstown, introduced by the Bureau of Tax Services, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Stammel, and Grimm.
on the question.
Is this 264?
624, yeah, 19.
That's for North Greenwood.
Sorry, there's an error in my title.
On the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26519,
G 26519, resolution authorizing and directing the Rensselaer County Chief Fiscal Officer to correct the 2019 tax rolls for the town of Pittstown, Bureau of Tax Services, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Stammel, and Grimm.
all on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26619,
G 26619, resolution authorizing a contract for the rehabilitation services Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by legislators Grant, Tessman, Sullivan, Tita.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26819,
G 26719,
sorry,
resolution
yep.
authorizing rental and maintenance of equipment and purchase of bulk oxygen, Van Rensselaer Manor, introduced by legislators Grant, Tessman, Sullivan, Tita.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. Now we'll do G 26819,
G 26819, resolution authorizing the county executive to accept allocations, enter into a contract with Culis Inc., purchase computers from HP Inc., scanners from
on the question.
eBiz
Oh,
Docs,
sorry.
approve payment to First Columbia for the replacement of flooring and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Department of Social Services, introduced by legislators Grant, Tessman, Sullivan, Tita.
Thought you had a shorter version than I did. On the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 26919,
G 26919, resolution authorizing a contract accepting a grant award from the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budgets, public defender, conflict defender, and county attorney, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
G 27019,
G 27019, resolution authorizing acceptance of an award from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, district attorney, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 27119,
G 27119, resolution amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget for public safety grant, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 27219,
G 27219, resolution authorizing amendments to an agreement for the Emergency Communication Center renovations project and amending the 2019 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Tessman, Grant, and Weaver.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G 27319,
G 27319, resolution authorizing agreements for the transportation of children with special needs for school year 2019-2020 and the summer of 2020. Department of Health, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Bendet, and Casal.
on the question. All in favor? Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 210. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
15 ayes, 1 abstention, Mrs. Sullivan Tita.
There you go. So moved. G, 27519.
G, 27519, resolution authorizing execution of contracts for elevator maintenance at the county office building, county courthouse, and the Troy Senior Center Buildings Department, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 27619.
G, 27619, resolution authorizing an agreement with Thompson Reuter, county attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 27619. 77.
G, 27719, resolution amending resolution number G, 14418 for County Route 129 Tamarack Road, large culvert replacement, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 27819.
G, 27819, resolution authorizing the purchase of a fire training structure, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 27919.
G, 27919, resolution authorizing the execution of contracts for tree and stump removal, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 28019.
G, 28019, resolution authorizing purchase from the New York State Comprehensive Bituminous Concrete Contract, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Grant, Sullivan, Tita, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
On the question. Done. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
15 ayes, 1 abstention, Mr. Casal.
So moved. G, 28119.
G, 28119, resolution confirming appointment of William J. Film as Rensselaer County Director of Tax Services, County Executive, introduced by legislators Loveridge, Stammel, and Grimm.
On the question.
No.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
on the
he's got a
resolution,
question. He's going to...
Okay, sorry.
I'd like to commend the county executive. This is a fantastic reappointment. Bill is, always goes above and beyond what is asked for. He's very well respected. We had a recent issue in East Greenbush where our local town assessor was suddenly hospitalized at a time when East Greenbush was facing a deadline to get some very important filings completed. The assessor's office called Bill up, and Bill came right over and assisted the town, so the town achieved its filing in a timely fashion. It was very important to the town. We appreciate Bill's help on that and his fast work on that. I'll tell you, as a resident of East Greenbush, maybe as a resident of any town, I happened to be in Town Hall and walked past the assessor's office to go to another meeting, and I see Bill Film sitting in there. And quite frankly, when you see the Director of Tax Services sitting in your local town hall, it's really not a good thing that's going on there. People are very concerned when people are there from the county. But in this case, it worked out extremely well. Bill was very helpful, worked closely with the town, and I think this, again, is a fantastic reappointment by the county executive, and I just commend him, and will be voting strongly in favor of Bill's reappointment. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I think he said it.
Well said.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. Congratulations, Mr. Film. You got another 6-year term here as long as you want to be with us. Thank you very much, and we do appreciate the work that you do for Rensselaer County. Thank you. G, 28219.
G, 28219, resolution approving Rensselaer County Department of Mental Health to become a social care services participating provider in the Healthy Alliance IPA, Department of Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Testman, Sullivan, Tita.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 28319.
G, 28319, resolution to approve Rensselaer County Department of Mental Health to become a Class C member of the Capital Behavioral Health Network, LLC, Mental Health, introduced by legislators Grant, Testman, Sullivan, Tita.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 28419.
G, 28419, resolution accepting grant funding from the New York State Department of Health for the public health.
G, 28519.
G28519, resolution authorizing payment to P.J. Blanchard Esquire as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 28719.
G28619,
86,
resolution
yeah, sorry.
authorizing payment to P.J. Blanchard Esquire as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question of G, 28619. Any?
Oh, there's 5.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. G, 28719.
Where is the index? G28719, resolution authorizing payment of claim to LaGuire shorthand reporters retained to transcribe audio recordings by Stephen M. Sharp Esquire as court-appointed Special Counsel, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. G, 28819.
16 ayes. G28819, resolution authorizing payment to Timothy Nugent Esquire as court-appointed Special District Attorney, County Attorney, introduced by legislators Testman, Grant, and Weaver.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 28919.
G28919, resolution approving memorandum of agreement and tentative settlement agreement between the County of Rensselaer and the Police Pavilion Association Road Patrol Bureau of Human Resources, introduced by legislators Wysocki, Battieri, and Burns.
On the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
16 ayes.
So moved. G, 29019.
G29019, resolution authorizing a lease agreement with Carmery Ford, Inc., County Clerk, introduced by legislators Leverage, Stamel, and Grimm.
On the question? All in favor?